All right, hello everyone. Welcome to our web class today. Uh, we're going to be talking about the ABCs of annual reviews and kind of just talking, about the philosophy behind them, how to establish the connection of the appointment, so you can get out there and really help your clients, you know, long term, to be the advisor they're looking for, to have those interactions on a yearly basis. Okay. All right, so today I'm joined by Alex Villa. He's my nephew and also my partner here, partner in crime. I'm Jeremy. I'm one of the coaches, and most of you guys know me. Um, a little bit about myself and Alex. I've been training agents for almost 20 years. This is his fourth or fifth year with us. But we take a lot of pride in passing on quality information to really help you increase your overall practice. So, Alex, I know you wanted to start first, so I'll let you go into the agenda and get this going.
All right, can you hear me okay?
Yep, hear you fine.
Okay, I apologize. I'm fighting a little bit of a cold, so I'm going to sound a little nasally today, but I'm going to do my best to come across the information crystal clearly. Okay, so first thing today, we're going to talk about what annual reviews are and why they're important. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to give you an easy script to set annual review appointments, and then we're going to close with a simple step-by-step guide on running an annual review appointment. So basically what we're going to talk about is what they are, why you should be wanting to do them, how to do them, and how to get the appointment to do them. And then once you're on them, how to talk to the client, what is all the information you should cover. Okay, so let's hop right in. Why can't I control? There we go. So what are annual reviews? Annual reviews are basically, it's just a revisit with a client you've already been with before. Or if you want, in a nutshell, it's a revisit with a client we've already sold. Okay, so we all know that their situations change. Okay, and altogether, I forgot where I was going with that. So the situations change, and you don't know what they may need. So you want to be constantly staying in front of them. Jeremy, did you want to say something about this slide?
Yeah, I mean the idea of the annual review, is a powerful connection piece to really reiterate why they bought from you in the first place, but also to see what's changed and what other possibilities the other problems we need to fill for them. Okay, so there's a couple of reasons why we do annual reviews, and first one is policy retention. Policy retention is incredibly important. And, a lot of guys talk about why they want to, have that residual income, right? Renewals are very important to both, property and casualty, life and annuity guys. All these things make us money. So if you have a better policy retention, you have fewer cancellations and lapses, and you also guard against replacements. From someone coming behind you and stealing the business away from you.
Yeah, absolutely, Jeremy. It's just a guarding against replacement. If you're constantly meeting with them, they don't have a chance to meet with anybody, and B, they don't have a need to. Because if you're constantly staying in front of them, you're the person that you're their expert that they want to talk to.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then moving on, the next part is easy sales. There's a statistic out there that we've used before, and I just want to share it with you guys real quick. And that's, on average, people buy insurance 7 times during their lives, and that is not including disability insurance annuities. So let me ask you, how many you've met with them once, so you sold them 1 time. Do you want to miss out on those other 6 sales? I know I don't. And that doesn't include like I said, it doesn't include disability insurance or annuities. There's all other kinds of products that we can service them that you can't get in the initial sale. So you constantly want to stay in front of them. Okay, and another reason why they're more likely to buy from you in the future, the people have already shown that they trust you. They've already bought from you. They've already bought into what you're telling them. They trust you. You're their person they want to deal with. So it makes it easier down the road. And lastly, it also makes that initial sales easier. I already touched on this a bit, because you don't have to go for the mother load in that first sale. You know you're going to be coming back in a year, so you can just go for that easy sale up front to make them a client, and then come back and work on the full picture the next time. So you don't look like you're greedy. You look like you're helping them one step at a time. And lastly, referrals. We all love referrals. There's no doubt that there's not a business out there that can survive without referrals, without repeat and referral business. I mean, if you think about a restaurant, how long would a restaurant survive if they can only get new clients? Not very long. There's just limited people out there. It's the same with our business. The easiest and most profitable way to improve your business is repeat and referral sales. Okay, so why is referral so good with any reviews? Well, why is it not? Not only does it make you more referable, it's also a great opportunity to ask for them. If you've shown that you're constantly staying in front of them, that you truly care, and that you're trying to take care of them and not just sell them something, they want to refer you to their friends. You're someone they trust. And also, it's just a great opportunity to ask for them. Okay, and Jeremy, you wanted to tell a story.
That's correct. When I think of great ways to educate agents, I think telling a story using a example is by far the fast way to get you guys to understand how it works and why the benefit is. So there's a lady that some of you heard this story before. Carlene is an old client of mine in Lou's. She recently called us because she had a Kentucky Central Life policy. This is back in the mid 90s. This right after Kentucky Central blew up and went bankrupt and was bought out by Jefferson Pilot and so forth. So she was a very hostile client at the very beginning. And long story short, initially she was a pain in the butt to work with. The day Lou left, the first day after going through all the the first year of dealing with her, we sold her a $300 a month whole life policy and really helped her. And over the course of about 5 or 6 years, of doing annual reviews, we slowly moved all our assets, that she had in her 401k IRAs, annuities, mutual funds, long-term care. Overall, we made a tremendous amount of money on her, but also helped her situation overall. And to the point where, when she came in to see us at our office, she'd either bring gifts, she'd walk in, give my mom a hug and kiss, give me a hug, give my dad a hug and kiss, because we became friends. It becomes a very, great relationship. Well, one year, and this is back in 2000, I guess, in 1999, 2000, we thought we had all our assets by now. We've been doing all this work for her, everything else. So right after the market crashed, she came in for an review, and we were reviewing her annuity statements with her. So we put her in some old index annuities back in the day, and they were old high watermark annuities. And for those who remember those, if you don't remember them, basically it took the highest part of the year, and they didn't have caps. So what grew up to is what you got. So in 97, 98, and I think 99, she ended up averaging over 25, 30%. And in 2000, when the market dipped, she came for a review. We're reviewing her some previous years. And she says, Jeremy and Lou, I feel guilty. I say, why do you feel guilty, Carmen? What's going on? She had this sad look on her face. And because she says, I feel guilty. All my friends lost money, and I'm over here making money. Because she's getting these returns, I'm not losing anything because the zero floor. And she slowly, reaches into her bag and pulls out a pile of statements. She had some mutual funds she didn't tell us about. And so it was about 60, 70,000 after what was left. It was over 100 when she started. And we ended up moving all that money too. So doing the end reviews keeps you in front of the client, keeps you in front of keeps you at top of mind for them. So when there's a problem, they come to you first. And there's all kinds of stories I can tell you that go along with that. in the referral, I mean, just look, I got a lady here, Kathy, that I deal with here in Georgia, and I've all heard Kathy's story about how much credit card debt she had, how I was able to help her get rid of all the credit card debt, have Chase wire her money, everything else. And I still do reviews with her every couple of years now. She's been wishy-washy, but she's still a friend. She brings me bread all the time. But with her, it's I never sold her anything. Never made a term sale to her that she kept. Nothing. But she likes to review her situation, go over her debts, and I do what I can to help her. And the end result is always more referrals. Always more referrals. So when you can do the annual reviews properly, one, it creates another stream of income for you, but also creates a stream of referrals you can't beat. And I know there's a lot of, this is kind of off subject, but I gotta say it. There's a couple of different companies online that are saying how bad referrals are, and if you're out there just selling product, yeah, no one's going to refer you. No one's going to waste their time referring a salesperson to someone they care about. So if you're out there just selling a concept, selling a product, selling a tool, selling a car, it's very hard to get referrals. But when you can really help a family, you really help their situation, you make a positive impact on their life, you will get referrals. When you can help a family get rid of $40,000 in credit card debt, do you think you're a salesperson, or do they think you're their hero? When you help a client who's worried about living their income, scared to death about touching their principal because they don't know how long it will last them, when you give them a guaranteed for income they cannot live and they still have money left over, do they hate you, or are you the hero? That's what makes you referable, guys. Doing the annual reviews, taking those steps, doing asking for the referral, asking people you can help, becoming the trusted advisor that you need to be. Off my soapbox. All right, so as we promised you, we want to give you an easy intro, how to get the annual reviews. So I was going over my notes and going through all my old scripts and stuff, and I came across two that I wanted to share with you. Now, Alex made me change one of them because he didn't like, as you know, if you talk to me ever on the phone, and I explain to you how I work with my clients, I'm a jokester. I like keeping it lighthearted. Okay, so Alex made me change the script, and it did say, and I'm picking on Alex here, that hello, so and so, this is Jeremy, your financial consultant. I hope you remember me. That's my little joke. But anyway, so this is the script, similar to what I use. I tell my joke, he doesn't. But hi, this is Jeremy, a financial consultant. The reason for my call today is to see if time we can get together in the next 2 weeks to review your situation, find out what has changed since we last talked, and make sure we're still on track to meet your retirement goals. Pay off your home, whatever goals you had set forth. What day and time best for you? Nothing salesy here, guys. It's the same way we attract our clients. We talk about a problem. We want to make sure they're still on track. We want to make sure you're still on track to pay off your home early. We want to make sure you're on track to get to your retirement. We want to see what's changed in your life. Do they have kids? Do they have a death in the family? Do they receive an inheritance? Do they get a new job? Do they start paying in their 401k again? Do they increase their 401k? Do they get raises? There's thousands of reasons why we need to meet with our clients on a yearly basis. That's a simple way to do it. Now, I was thinking back to, I guess in the 99, 98, 97 time frame, and I use this script down here, and it worked then, and I can say, with the current state of the economy, I would start using this right now. I'm reaching out to you today. Same way. Hello, it's Jeremy, financial consultant. I'm reaching out to you today because our economy is rapidly changing. and I'm concerned we're going to see a market correction in the very near future. Is there time we can get together in the near future to make sure you're prepared and that your plan is still on track? Now, I can tell you, when I used this back in the early 90s, it worked phenomenally well. Because, I was, and Lou will tell you, we were scared of the marketplace at that point. We knew it was overpriced like it is today. We're overdue for a correction now. The average correction is every 7 to 8 years, and we're at year 10. And we had one little minor blip, that little 10% blip we recovered from already. But this year has been pretty stale. We started at, I think it's 2,700 points. We're going to end at 2,700 points, somewhere around there. So, use these scripts to your advantage, guys. Look at what's going on in the economy. If you look at the market and you're scared of the market, let people know. Their clients look up to us for a lot of different reasons. They look for us for advice, look for us for guidance, and they look for us to monitor different trends and tracks. And even though we're not, and I'll use my term, stock monkeys, we're not out there selling funds, we're not selling mutual funds, we're not IRAs, IARs, or whatever they want to be. We're fixed product people. We're selling life and annuity, we're selling index products, selling whole life. But we should know what's going on in the market. Because a lot of the plans we talk about, a lot of things we talk about with our clients revolve around fees. And we should know what's going on constantly and concurrently. That way we can help them make the most educated financial decision they can make. All right. So when it comes to, now that you have the appointment, right? Because the appointment's only half the battle. Getting in front of people. And getting in reviews is probably one of the easiest ways to get appointments. Especially if you did it right the first time. Now, let me say this, because if you were out, if you're buying leads, presenting yourself as a salesperson, getting the annual review is going to be tough. It's an uphill battle, like all things. Because when you start behind the 8 ball, now you're trying to get around it. You're trying to overcome the fact that, hey, I might have sold your product, now I want to be your advisor. Okay, this is why it's incredibly important to start off on the right foot with your prospects. And if you already have started off on the other opposite foot, the wrong foot to start with, I'm not saying it can't be done. You might have to work a little harder at it. And you might have to do some drip mailings. You might have to make some transitions and change your marketing so people can see you're doing more than just selling product. Okay, we all started somewhere. I'm not saying you did anything wrong. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there's a better way to do it. Does that make sense? All right. So the process for the review, is very simple. I think. It starts with an opening statement. Okay, we're going to do the policy review. We're going to start a new fact find. We're going to confirm for a second appointment, and we're going to ask for referrals. Okay, so the reason we use this process is because the same thing we do with our fact finds, right? But it's a little different because you want to cover where they are. You want to let them know how things are going, what changes need to be made, if we need to change the allocations, if we need to stop PUAs, if we need to increase the PUAs, if we need to drop a rider to save them some money. There's different things we need to review the policy for. Okay, but so let's jump right into the opening statement, and this is something, it's a little different than what we normally do, but has the same mission. Okay, so before we get started, you heard that before, right? What has changed since we last met? What concerns do you have? Anything making you nervous like the last year? Anything you don't understand? Okay. And I say, well, what I first like to do is go over what you currently have. And then since we can agree that a lot has changed, I want to go over your situation again to make sure you're in the best position as possible. Does that make sense? So it's the same thing. We're helping them, putting them at ease. We're not selling them anything, but we want to help them make sure they're still on track. All right. So, Alex, I know you wanted to cover this section. So I'll let you go at it.
Yeah. There we go. Sorry, couldn't figure out how to mute myself. All right. So yeah, the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna actually do the annual review part. So you just discussed the opening statement. So the first thing we want to do is go over what you currently have. Okay. So and that's going over the policy that you may have sold them last time you were there. So however they're a client, you're going to review with them what they've already done with you. So if it's life insurance, you're going to go over the brief summary of the coverage. Okay, and this is saying like exactly how much death benefit you have, what you're paying on it each month, and then the beneficiary designation. Saying, hey, just by the way, like the beneficiary you have listed, it's your wife or your kids or whoever it is, and how that just going over briefly how that works with them. So if they have contingents and everything else, just making sure is this still what you want to do? Awesome. Then you can move on. Next thing you want to go over, especially if it's an IUL over a whole life, is talk about the performance it has. Talk about how it's doing. Like you earned 11% this last year. We had a great year. So this brings you up to a current value of this. That's awesome. Or if it was a down year, talk about, hey, like the market went down 10% this year, but the cool thing about this product is you didn't lose a dime. You're still way up here. How do you feel about that? That's awesome. Okay. And then you also want to go through some key benefits of the policy. Talk about, hey, like, by the way, like, don't forget, I want you to remind you about this stuff, that you have a waiver of premium. So if you become disabled, you don't have to pay this. So give me a call if this happens to you. I hope it doesn't, but it's ready if it's ready for you if you need it. Same thing about with the living benefits. Talk about like, hey, like, if you get a critical illness or a cancer or anything like that, this policy is here to take care of you. So please give me a call and let me help you. And lastly, just like we end anything else, do you have any questions about anything what I've covered today? And that's as simple as it is. You just went through everything. It's just really reselling them on the value that they've purchased. And that's why it's going to help with your retention because they won't remember all this stuff. But it's just reiterating everything and showing them that they're taken care of. It's putting their mind at ease.
Now, one thing I'll add to that, Alex, because this is, I always downplay this infinite banking concept a lot of times when you're trying to sell it up front. This is when you can really go into and show them how they can really use that policy. So if you like the infinite banking concept, letting them know that, hey, a key benefit is you can take loans from your policy. So if you have credit card debt, you want to buy a new car, you can tap into this and pay yourself back with interest. You can eliminate, the things you want to get away from in the banks. I was talking to Agent this morning, and he was doing he was at a seminar yesterday, a workshop yesterday with one of the big mailing companies, and they were talking about the three main things people hate or people have problems with. First one was debt. The second one, crap, my mind I just lost it. It was debt, taxes, and banks. Those are the three things people hate. They hate having debt, they hate paying taxes, they hate paying interest to big banks. So keep those three things in mind talking to your clients, especially during your reviews, during your initial interviews and so forth, because those things that, if we know what the three main problems middle income families have or hate doing, we help them get rid of it. Help them see the problem with it. All right. So that's something else I want to add there. Okay. So next we're talking about the fact find. Okay. Now the fact find process is gonna, I always want to bring the old fact find with me so I want to read it beforehand so I know what problems we didn't solve the first time. And I'm gonna do a new fact find with them. It's a whole complete blank form, start over from scratch to kind of make sure that nothing's changed and we're still 100% on track. Okay. There's a reason we do that because some of the hot points they had the previous year won't be there. So now we can see what else is on their mind. So make sure you ask the emotional questions. Just don't do a fact find, just asking the hard facts. Asking, how much you put in your 401k, how much the value is, what interest rates are earning, how much life insurance do you have, how much credit card debt. It's the emotional questions that still tie all this together, guys. It's helping them see a problem. All right. So talking about, the tax implications, how they're getting a tax refund or not. How do they feel about the taxes? Do you think taxes are going to be higher or lower in the future? If that's the case, then, why put money in your 401k type questions, okay? Get them to help them see the problem. Now, so once you go there, I'm not putting a lot of time on the fact find process, and we'll look at some resource at the end to kind of show you where you can get more help on that. But probably the most important step here is once you have the information, is don't provide a solution right away. As in the same thing, we teach agents today is everything we do is on a 2-call close. Same thing for annual review. If we have a solution, another solution we want to present, another problem we found, I want to make another appointment to come back and really have time to digest and drop the plan. So I don't want to be shooting from the hip saying, well, you need to do this and that. That's not going to work. We know it doesn't work. So always make that second appointment. So now that I've collected all the data, what I'd like to do is go back and like we did last year, let me go through it, crunch the numbers, make sure we're all on track, and come back next week. Is the same time next week okay? Okay. That way you already have that commitment to come back and review your findings. That makes sense? So then you go back to your office, you drop your 2-page, and please, please, please drop your 2-page presentation. Always, always, always. Above and beyond the simplicity of making the close, it gives you a track and can validate, and you can show them, during your reviews that, hey, this is the plan last year. This is the new plan we're making changes to. Now you have a track, a progression you can keep track of. All right. And you close the same way. It's always the same process. Okay. Now, Alex, you have anything to add there?
No, I think you pretty much nailed it.
All right. So I mean that's those are the key things, guys. So the next step, is the most important, is getting the referrals. And how do you ask for them? I've seen so many out there, so many different process, so many different ways to ask for them, and different techniques we can ask them for contacts from their cell phone, and all kinds of Facebook asks. The hell with all that crap. It's all junk. All right, because if you go out there and really do the right job for your prospect, you out there helping them solve the problem. They don't feel like they're being sold. They're buying from you. They see a benefit of working with you. Then all you do is ask for the people that will help. Hey, Jim, we've been working together for a couple of years now, and hopefully you've seen the benefit of working with me. And I think it, and looking what we've done, you do see the benefit. We keep doing it. So, is there anyone in your similar situation, friend, family member, business, co-worker, whatever, get benefit from my help? And I tell you, every time I ask that question, I go through, that's that piece. I get 2 or 3 referrals every single time. I don't care if I've been working with a client for 10 years, 15 years. There's always somebody they can refer me to that I can help. When you get the objections, I don't know anybody, You've gone through all my referrals already. You've gone through all my friends and family. That's a pile of crap. You know, they feel like they're being sold. That's why they're not referring to you. All right. So the bottom line, guys and gals, it's doing the annual reviews is part of the job. It's part of doing the job the right way. You know, I don't know how many times I talk to agents that, you know, sold a policy and have never contacted the client again. You know, I talk to clients, agents all of this country, all over the world that are constantly telling me, well, I don't even have database of my clients. I don't even know who's bought from me. And I was like, why? Why are you doing this the hardest way possible? You know, what's the most time consuming and cost consuming way, a process of bringing in prospects? Marketing. Marketing is not cheap. Prospecting is not cheap. When you're bringing and have to bring in new prospects every year, new blood every year, you spend the most amount of time working with the wrong people. You know, I was working, I was talking to an agent the other day, and I was telling him, I said, you know, you have, 500 clients already. You know, how many referrals you get? None. Okay, so have you met with any of your clients since you sold them? No. Well, you're sitting on a damn gold mine. Look at it. If you have 500 clients, all right, and I'm no math genius here, but I'm gonna Alex answer this math question for me. Alex, if you have 500 clients and the average person buys life insurance 7 times, how many potential policies is that you can sell?
3,500.
3,500. Okay, and if the average agent sells even 100 a year, how long will that last them?
35 years. And that's not including, if you want to take it a step further, if each one of those 500 clients gave 2 referrals, now we're looking at 1,000 people.
Yeah, it's not rocket science, guys. You know, when you find and work with the right people, you deliver the right message, you ask the right questions so they see the benefit of working with you. You have really solid clients. You have the right clients. All of us have had the wrong clients before. We know it. The clients that are a pain in the butt to work with, that want to argue, don't want to listen, we don't need them. You know, I want to help people, but if they don't want to help themselves, move on to the next person. You know, when you find the right people and you're not selling, you're having fun, you're really helping change their lives and change the situation, you make this business a lot easier. There's too many of us too many out there that are doing, the first year of insurance over and over and over again, the hardest way possible. Make this simple. Work smart, not hard. All right. So I hope that kind of gives you some frame of reference on what you guys can do to really increase what you're doing. Even if you only spend, and do 10, 15 reviews a year. If you only have 5 or 10 clients when you're getting started, it's still worthwhile to do them. If you really help people and you really help people get what they want, you'll get what you want. All right. Now,
real quick, Jeremy, before you move on, I was thinking I got a couple more points to bring up.
Okay.
First and foremost, someone wrote in, would it be better to ask who do you know versus is there anyone? And so I don't know if you want to take that. You want me to take it? Doesn't matter.
Go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, I like who do you know just as much as is there anyone. It's just we just didn't type it that way. But who do you know? It's more personal. I love it. That's absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, guys, with any of the scripts we teach you, with any of the information we give, make it your own. You know, like I said before, we live in Georgia. We say y'all, you know,
Well,
we
he
say
does
things.
anyway.
Yeah, I do. Well, you're from Carolina. That's the difference. Um, we say things different ways. We have different phrases and different ways we say things in different states. So modify it to you. Make it your own. You know, if you're a jokester like me, use jokes. If you're more serious and stoic, then use it to your advantage too. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. And then a couple of other things I was thinking about when you're doing. Yeah, you touched on this briefly, but as far as like the reasons why to do an annual review, remember the fiduciary duty and everything else? It's part of our job. People's situations change. This is someone's financial being that we're dealing with here. It's part of our job to make sure they're still okay. It's not a set it once and forget it kind of thing. It's a I'm going to guide you along every step of the way. I want to make sure that you're in the best place possible. It's part of our job, guys. I mean, we're getting paid to do it. Just, even if we say we didn't make another sale, we're still getting. Um, I can't think of what it's called, Jeremy. What's it?
Renewals.
Renewals. Thank you. You're still getting residuals. Is what I was looking. Is the word I was looking for. But you're still getting residual income off of them. It's not. That's what this is for. It's because you're supposed to be keeping in contact. If they need anything, it's your job to take care of them. Okay. And the last thing is when you're doing that second appointment, yes, you want to remember what all they talked about because those could be hot points. But throw it out. But at the same time, throw it all out the window. Don't assume anything. Okay, just really just have another good conversation with them, talking about where they're at now. And this is all changed. So don't go in with a preset mindset. Oh, they have this and this. I need to go after this because you don't know. Things change.
Excellent points. Yeah, I mean this you know, like Alex said, you know, we have a duty to our clients to really make sure and take after them and look after them. You know, they're your financial family in a lot of ways. So take care of the ones you love. Take care of the ones that need the most help. All right. So, you know, we talked about, you know, I always want to give resources where you can find more information on the fact finding, on the different techniques, you know, through the resource center, through our video training, the task videos on the resource center. We have web classes on questioning. You know, take advantage of these resources, guys. A lot of them are included in your membership to the resource center for free. You know, use them. Watch the videos, learn the techniques, you know, and really put them to work. You know, if you don't use the material, you know, I can't spoon feed you it. You have to take some time to study it and learn it. But if you do, I can guarantee you're going to make your job a lot easier. You can help a lot more people. And you can have a lot more fun doing it. All right. So, do we have any more questions, Alex?
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, this is just a time. I don't have any right now, but if anyone has any questions, feel free to send them in. We got a couple of minutes to go over. So just feel free to type in any questions you guys might have.
Yep. Questions about this, questions about anything, don't matter. We got 15, 20 minutes, so. Well, I know 3 people on here always have questions for me, so I'm very shocked they have not written any. Oh, there's one.
Yes, Daryl. Every webinar we do, they're always recorded. I don't know if you can actually see the little top left recording on the top left or not. I don't know if that's just for my eyes or not, if as a panelist. But yeah, we always record them. You'll get sent out the recording and the slides later today, and they usually be on the private site either today. Probably it might be tomorrow, just because we're running out of time today. But yes, they will be on the site shortly.
Oh, there's the man I was looking for. Joe asks, what happens if you switch from one base life insurance company to another and you had a bunch of clients who were supposedly lost upon leaving? Is there any way to move these clients over with us? You know, depending on your contract, and this gets into the no compete clause of the contract, typically it's 2 to 3 years before you can reach out to those clients. So you got to read your contracts and know what that non-compete is. That, you know, if you're captive, it's a lot tougher. You know, as independent, you have more control over your clients in a lot of ways. So just, definitely look at your contract. Yeah, Joe, I know your situation. In your no compete, I believe, is 2 years. So after that 2 year period is up, you should be able to start contacting them. But go through and read your contract, and that should look for the no compete clause in it. All right. Any other questions for today?
Had a couple people ringing in, just say thank you. You guys are very welcome. We always thank you for coming in. We appreciate you guys. We do this all for you. So glad you guys enjoyed it. Hope it was great.
Yep. All right. One other question came in. The other person I was looking for. I recently had read that as a financial consultant, the client should come to meet with you at your office versus going to their home. Going to their home, they know it's a salesperson you're taking. I think that's a pile of crap. All right. I've had offices in nice office buildings. I've had offices in my home. Lou had office buildings. He had offices at his home. And honestly, I prefer to go to my client's home. Okay. And the simple reason is, one, that's where all their paperwork's going to be, for one. Two, it puts them more at ease. We've all heard the term white coat syndrome, right? When you have to go to a doctor, an accountant, attorney's office, it's nerve-wracking. You can feel overwhelmed by that. So personally, I'd rather go to their home where they're at ease. They can kick back, relax. I had an agent a couple of years ago who had a really unique take on this. And this guy, he was doing between 500 and 800,000 a year in commissions. All right. And when he would go to his clients' homes, he was known to always wear a bow tie. He was probably in his 40s. He wore a 3-piece suit with a bow tie. And as soon as he walked in the home, the jacket came off, the vest came off. He'd undo the bow tie, and come down to their level. He worked with average families. And I had the pleasure of going out on a sales call with him because he is not health licensed, and he asked me to go out and help him with the DI sale for the client. And me, I'm not one to wear suits to clients' homes. I usually wear khakis and a polo shirt or something, nice and not overbearing. That's my personal style. That's what I like. And so, but the agent asked me to wear a suit and just follow his lead. And when I did that, I followed his lead, and we took our shoes off, and we're taking the jackets off. And you'd be surprised how laid back these people got, and were not intimidated. They weren't. They saw us as their own, on the same level. We weren't, the highfalutin or high, wannabe sales gurus. We're just two normal guys trying to help them. Okay. So as far as going to the home, that's what I prefer. You can do it either way. If you're dealing with more of the senior market, doing a lot of income planning, a lot of the high-end work, then you may want to have an office for that, for credibility purposes. But if you're dealing with middle-income families, doing life insurance, 401k rollovers, accumulation, then going to their home is fine. I don't see a problem with that. All right. Yeah, I mean, Joe, wherever the client's comfortable, it really depends. I mean, here in the South, where I am in Georgia, it's very more of a homey, everybody's a friend atmosphere. In some of the other states, people are more just not going to come to home. People they don't know, especially at first, because they don't know if you're a psycho, if you're an axe murderer, they don't know you. Once they get to know you, they'll invite you to the home. That's the first, call. Usually at the first meeting. So I'll meet people at Panera Bread occasionally. I have an agent up in Virginia who meets everybody at this little coffee shop in town he frequents. and then he goes to the home after that. So, yeah, but there's nothing wrong with that. Just make sure you have a quiet little corner picked out where you can talk to them and have the conversations with, some confidentiality. So you don't have to, have people listening in. That makes sense? All right. Any more questions for today? All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up then. First, I want to wish everybody a happy holidays. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. We should be having our next class before Christmas. It'll probably be the 20th, 21st, that Thursday before Christmas. That's my goal. If not, it'll be between Christmas and the New Year, which is going to really, really stink. But, end the year strong. Keep pushing through. If you have downtime right now, keep studying. You should be studying an hour a day religiously anyways. Keep studying, keep working. If you have any questions, need help on cases, need a kick in the butt, whatever, we're here to help you. Call us when you need us. Alex, you have anything to add? All right. Alex is good. I'm good. Everybody, thank you for coming. Carver time out of your busy day to come out and see us today. And we'll see you in a couple weeks. Have a great day.